Hello.
We will come at the end of the film to do a Q&A and answer all the questions. Please have many questions ready for them, but anything we need to know, what you want to say before the film?
Well, I just arrived here and I'm very excited to show the film to the Finnish audience. And yeah, I'm enchanted by this place, so hope you enjoyed the film.
Hi. So I came here, I'm not very good at math, but I think it was 2012, so that's how many years ago? 14 years ago, thank you. I just came from the sauna, so.
Yeah, you can see my hair is wet. Normally, I dry my hair, prepare myself, but then I was like, oh, the sauna, I have to go to the screening, okay, so, yeah.
And yeah, we're in the sauna.
Yeah, no, the sauna was an experience because it was the first time I did this smoke sauna, and it was all these rocks, and I felt like I was like living with my ancestors, like the ancestors lived, because the smell. Of course, I love sauna and I love cold water, but this was the first time that I had all the things together, the stones and the smell of the wood and the cold water, amazing. So kind of, I'm still in the high of the experience.
Yeah, I wanted to dedicate this screening to 3 people who I met in Sodankylä 14 years ago, who are no longer with us. Peter von Baag, one of the co-founders of the festival. Harriet Anderson, Monica from the Bergman movies, and Bella Tarr. Time goes by fast, right? Cinema goes by fast. Cinema is always changing. And our movies are always in a conversation with cinema. And this festival is, for me, a sacred place of cinema. It's a place where we join together and we think about that history, thanks to people like Otto, thanks to people like Peter von Baag and Timo and Milja, the team here who do such a great job of putting films together in such a meaningful way. And so, please don't forget to see California by Marina Person tomorrow at 5:30, 5:45, something like that. 5, because we're both directors, and it's very special for the festival to program California, which was a movie that inspired me, and also my first film, Porto, which is also screened last night, will also screen, I think, at the end of the festival. So yeah, in 2012, when I was here, I wish I had talked a little bit more to Bella Tarr. I wish I had talked a little bit more to Harriet Anderson, So, not to put myself in the same place as them, please. But if you find us after the movie, if you find us around the festival, let's talk, let's exchange ideas about movies, and let's figure out what the next 14 years are going to look like, So I'm so honored to be here. Again, yeah, I traveled more than I've ever traveled in my life to be in Sodankylä. I took 4 planes from Sydney, Australia. I was at a festival, and Sydney, Singapore, London, Helsinki, Ravana. Hardcore! Yeah, so, and couldn't be happier, really. So thank you all for being here. Thanks, Marina.
And enjoy.
Yeah, enjoy the movie. Let's talk afterwards. Thanks, Otto. Yeah, we'll be here after. Thank you.
Marina Person and Gabe Klinger. Just to start it off, how come you decide to explore the world of wine?
That's the easy part. Well, I was already a fan of natural wines in this world when Gabe talked to me the first time. And I said, oh, you know that I'm really fond of, natural wines and stuff. I said, no, I didn't. I said, and I even thought about opening a bar just before the pandemic. When, I don't know if you know about this guy that we had as a president. I don't like to say his name. Yeah, but he eventually he got elected. But before his election, I said, well, maybe cinema is not going to be like a possible mean of surviving to get by in Brazil. And me and my husband, we thought, well, maybe we should open a bar. And then we got this idea for a while. We went around, the center of São Paulo, looking for places. Yeah, can we make it? Could we really do that? But we are not, entrepreneurs or business, people. So we thought, no, that's a bad idea. And then the pandemic came. So we were like, oh, that was like really not a good idea, right? Yeah, it wasn't. But yeah, and then Gabe, he called me one day, and I thought, I didn't know what he was gonna say. But then he talked to me about the project, and I said, oh, maybe he's gonna ask me to direct, because I'm a director too. And I said, yeah. And then after, I don't know, 40 minutes, he was talking about the project, and I said, okay, so you want me to direct? No, I want you to be the actress. I said, oh, interesting. That doesn't happen very often. I like that. Let's do it. So that's how.
How did you research the world of wine then?
Well, wine is really just a metaphor, right? I think Marina touched on something important, which is that when I conceived this project and when we made this project, we were still coming out of 4 years, but if you want to extend that, really 8 years of political torture in Brazil, where we really thought the art world was going to collapse. And then came the pandemic. And so in some ways, the idea of opening a little neighborhood wine bar to be with your friends and to be together came out of that frustration, political frustration, viral frustration, right? And looking at the project now, intuitively, I think we were talking about those things. We were talking about the idea of how do we be a collective again. And then there's also this idea in the film of, I think, São Paulo being this mega city that has become unlivable for some people. And the movie becomes some kind of idealization of the city that we want to live in, the city that we want to walk down the street, drink a wine in our neighborhood wine bar, read a book in a bookshop, these kinds of things that we value. And so I think we're in a particular moment in time where we want more Isabels. We want there to be more people like this character who takes initiative and doesn't just be oppressed by the city, but defies the city. It defies the patriarchal system that oppresses her and says, I'm going to do my own thing. I'm going to open my own wine bar. So I think it was observing the people around us, because in São Paulo, there's many interesting women in the wine scene. And so we're very inspired by those women.
Our muses.
Our muses, yeah, they're in the credits.
Like you said, Sao Paulo is a massive city, but there's a real sense of neighborhood in this film. Are you connected to the neighborhood where you filmed, and can you tell where it is?
Yeah. Oh, it's the center. Well, this is, I think, is the only thing, or the one thing that Isabel has in common with me, because I think Isabel is much more like an alter ego of Gabe's. No, really. Although, you know, because I was born like 5 blocks away from the place that I live right now, which is the center of São Paulo. This is
Actually, 3 blocks.
3? Okay.
I think so.
Between 3 and 5. But the thing is, I'm a real, my roots are really consolidated in São Paulo, in that corner, that is my real corner of the world. And so, what was the question again? Forgot?
About São Paulo.
About São Paulo? Oh, the neighborhood. But you see, I think I have this idea that about the film. My vision about the film is that Gabe was born in São Paulo, but he lived many, many years in Chicago. And he came back to São Paulo. He went back to São Paulo. And I think the São Paulo that we see, the city that we see in the film, is much more like a São Paulo that is idealized in his vision of what his native city should be like, much more than what it is. Because São Paulo is not that romantic, cobblestones, villas, and like little streets with small bars. São Paulo is not metropolis. It's like very cruel, very, you know, it's huge and tall buildings, and it's very business-oriented, money-oriented. And what we see in the film is a city that we would like to live in. That's a city that values its old architecture, that values the small local shops, that values the manufacturers, the you know, the things that are made by humans and not by big corporations. And so this is my vision about the film. It's what Gabe thought about the city he was born in, and what he thought he wanted the city to be, not what it is. Do you understand what I mean? It's an idealized vision.
But then the conflict, because the city doesn't want you to have that vision, right? So it makes for a good character, because she has to fight the forces around her. And
Yeah, what? Yeah, what?
You're both writers on this film, so how did you just practically collaborate on this, on the story, dialogues, character? Can you tell about that?
This is Gabe's idea.
I started the script, but then I gave it to Marina because 1, she loves wine. 2, she's been in São Paulo for most of her life, with a bit of a detour in Norway.
Yeah, 1 year in Norway.
Yeah, and so we started to talk really about the practical idea of the film, not just the idea of the film. What this character would sound like, who the people that she interacted with were like, and the spaces she inhabited, because they were all real spaces that we go to. Though Isabel's wine bar is a real bar that we go to. We go to drink wine. So how to behave, how to hold a wine bottle, you know, all these things that influence at the end of the day the creative result of the film.
But my credit in the film is like totally like a Gabe's generosity, because he wrote the story, he wrote the script, he gave me the script, and I started working on the dialogues, and I started, of course, he gave me the freedom to work on the character and to ask questions about this character. I said, why would she do this? Don't you think she would do something else? So can you tell me the reasons why you think she is taking this action? Why? And all these whys became, you know, led Isabel to a different pattern or path. And one day after we were like really really talking about this and having all the discussions gave me the freedom to really, write some dialogues on the script. One day I got the script and my name was on it. I didn't ask for it. We didn't talk about it. I wasn't going to be the screenwriter. So this was all his generosity to give me the credit, because I think as an actress, the only way to have fun or to be what do you call it? To have my whole self on a character is to be, I need to be sure of what I'm doing, to appropriate myself of that character, and so that, the work, it means that I'm going to change dialogues, I'm going to ask questions, I'm going to really, why is she doing this? Maybe she should do something else. And so that's how I became a screenwriter. But that was not the original idea. This was like his idea.
I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I will say there was this film, Finnish film from the 90s called Drifting Clouds by Aki Kaurismäki with Kati Uutinen, the great Kati Uutinen. Am I pronouncing her name correctly? Enough? Yeah. We all know Kati Uutinen. And the story of Drifting Clouds is a couple who open a restaurant. If any of you have seen the film. Everyone has seen it.
Yeah.
Everyone has seen Drifting
Yes.
Clouds? Yeah. And it's not always a happy story, right? And so somehow we took a bit of Drifting Clouds, I think. I can say this with this audience here, because you know that experience. And I think Brazilian people share something with Finnish people, because Portugal and Finland have something. We're a Portuguese. Brazil is a Portuguese colony, and something of the melancholy, something of the mission to exist, and to do things, and to express individuality in a society that doesn't want you to express that individuality. So I will just say that Drifting Clouds was in my head. So maybe I could put Aki Kaurismäki as the co-star.
Any questions about Drifting Clouds? Isabel?
Thank you for this tasty, bubbly, intoxicating film. And it seems to be that everyone acting does their best job in Gabe Klinger's film, like Marina in this one and like Anton Yelchin in the other passionate film of yours. But they are also very different films, Isabel and Porto. The other one was a very raw and erotic, and this was tasty and bubbly and intoxicating. Is it so that those countries or regions like Portugal and Brazil inspire you different kinds of stories, different kind of feelings?
Yeah, I mean, it was a long time ago that I made Porto. For sure, I think the different outlooks of life, it's a good question, and I don't have the answer, because if you're asking me to be as introspective as I should be, maybe I wouldn't be an artist, or maybe I wouldn't make films, because if you analyze your life too closely or too much, you're not doing the work in some way. Maybe Porto is the movie of a romantic who was watching a lot of new wave films, and maybe Isabel is a film of a guy whose feet is more on the ground, and maybe it's a bit of an allegory too about independent movie making and how hard it is. But the way you stay sane in that is having a sense of humor and having a certain lightness, as you said, bubbly, the word you used. So
I love that.
yeah. I think Isabel has to have a certain effervescence, because otherwise, the journey is too dark, is too down, and I think we have to rise up. But it's not just the bubbles, the fermentation. It's the actual vines growing and coming up at the end of the film that, for me, suggests some kind of optimism. Yeah.
Any more questions?
The story that as well. I was wondering, Isabel seemed as a character seemed to be distant from even those people she considered peers. For example, the scene with him and somebody else. There was clear antagonism with the one person who was trained in her eyes, but she seemed to be quite distant from even those people who seemed to regard her well. And honestly, was this in my eye, or was there a reason why she seemed to be only close to a couple of people, and even there it was a bit iffy?
You're talking about Nico or about Fred or no, Isabel towards.
Repeat the question. I'll repeat.
Oh yeah, good.
Just about Isabel being distant to everyone around her, almost, even the people who kind of like her.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You see, you mean Isabel being distant from Nico or and from Fred or from her mother?
No. I mean, not those the closest ones, but the group of sommeliers, for example.
Oh, okay. Yeah, she's totally off. I mean, she's not connected to them at all.
Yeah. What is the reason behind why is
Good question. I think because she feels she's like a in Portuguese, how do you say that? One flew over the cuckoo's nest. She's kind of a bird out of the nest or something. Kind of. She doesn't belong to any group. She doesn't belong to any movement. She's totally independent. She's totally. She has like a what do you call her path? She was ahead of her time in a way. So she kind of opened the path to other people to come and kind of flower and to bloom and to be successful and you know have money. And she feels like she's very alone in that thing because she's like, I was talking about this thing like so many years ago and now she's tired. She doesn't have the energy anymore. She doesn't have like the business drive to make like a business out of that talent that she has. Because in a way she's an artist, but she doesn't have any talent for like Excel sheets, you know, money, numbers, boletos, what do you call it?
Yeah, bills.
Bills to pay. And this is the reason she fails. Because her talents are not enough to make it like a life, a gaining, profitable thing, right? But I think, you know, in the end, I mean, it's an open end. Some people think, oh, why doesn't it work? You know, I was rooting for her. I'm so sad. People get sad sometimes with the end. And I think, well, that's not the end. You know, that's just one point in her life. She's not so young because she's in her 50s, but she still has a lot to do. Her life is she's still alive, she's healthy, she has ideas, she's talented, she can do a number of things. We just don't know it. In this film, we don't know it. Maybe in Isabel 2, which is upcoming next summer.
She opens a herring bar in Helsinki.
Well, we don't know.
You take it where you want to go. As Jean-Luc Godard said, films are not an airport, they're an airplane. It's not a destination, it's the vehicle to where you want to go. So, yeah. I think we were inspired by those types of movies.
Yeah, but the thing is, I think the original ending was much more sad. And this is one of the discussions that we had. Said, Gabe, I don't think we should have let Isabel fail in that matter, in that anger. She shouldn't be bitter. She shouldn't be angry with the world. I think we should have like a bittersweet thing in the end. And then, you know, we came up with this idea that it should be a party. She should give away the wines because
it wasn't in the original script. It was a new idea.
It wasn't, yeah.
Yeah, so that's why.
Exactly, that's why. Because the thing is, wines should be shared. And this is one thing, we were watching, you know, one wine film that is very famous, Sideways, with Paul Giamatti. I don't know if you remember this film.
Yes.
Okay, there's one scene, the final scene, he opens a very special bottle by himself in a diner, eating a hamburger in like a plastic little cup. And then we were like, no, this is terrible ending because wines should be shared. You should drink with someone. Wines are, you know, Bacco, you know, the god of wine. He would party. He would like. It was like there's like a lot of libido involved. You know, there's love involved. There's love of the other, and the passion for sharing it with other people and partying. So I thought this is the end of Isabel, because Isabel is a passionate person for the wine, but not only the wine. It's just like the whole thing about wines, and that's Bacco. That's party. That's sharing, and that's giving it to people that don't know what it is, but then get enchanted by the wine, the power of wine, and so this is what we thought about it. It would be like a bittersweet ending.
I have a question for the audience. So, are you guys not Elvis fans? Why aren't you over at the karaoke? Should we maybe end the Q&A by doing like an Elvis? Love me tender. Yeah, but we're here. And they're here for some reason.
Maybe they have already seen it. Maybe
Yeah,
they've seen the rerun.
Yeah.
Maybe they couldn't get in. Maybe they were in the end of the line.
Maybe. Or maybe you love Roy Orbison instead.
There's no wine.
We love
Elvis
wine, not IPA beer.
Wine lovers!
Yeah, Elvis, Elvis was a little sober. Maybe not at the end. But I don't think that's what that movie is about. But maybe one last one, if anybody, or we can go have some wine.
You said about sharing the wine.
Yeah.
That reminded me. I love the way.
Oh, I have some right here. Hang on.
I love the way you kind of foretold what the investment isn't going to pan out when she came with the wine bottle, which was supposed to be something he was interested in, and he just gave it to them.
He just gave it away.
Yeah.
I
And it
know.
seemed pretty obvious.
That's sad. This is the lowest point in her
And especially when it
dream.
turns out that the first one was also there. I really like that.
But let's face it, let's bring that metaphor that you mentioned to movies. How many times, I love movies, right? And how many times have you shared a movie with somebody and maybe they didn't like it, right? Maybe they didn't like the movie you were watching, they didn't appreciate it. And it's the same thing, I think, with wine, you bring a nice bottle of wine to a party, and maybe somebody just drinks it like it's any old wine. I think you have to know how to appreciate something. You have to connect with people who appreciate what you appreciate.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong about it, because sometimes, you just don't like that genre. We were talking about this film. We love Renate Reinsve, right? And then she made this from Backrooms. Did you see it? Have you seen it? And then I went to see this movie because of her. Nobody saw it. Backrooms.
It's a real cinephile audience.
Okay,
Not yet.
Not yet.
It's it's a horror, terror, made by this 20-year-old guy. But they're interesting things, but it's a genre that I'm not into totally, like a terror, what do you call it, horror, psycho terror. And I was like, oh my God, why did she do this? But anyways, you know, I don't like it, but there's so many people that like it. The movie's like grossing millions of dollars across the world in box office. So that doesn't mean it's bad or good or bad.
It's bad.
You know, no, it's not.
That's where we can have
It's just not our taste. We have to face it. Our taste is not the taste, you know, of maybe.
Yeah, but I think that gets into the question of we have to defend our tastes, right?
Exactly. Like on the plane, another example. I was on the plane to here, right? And I like to see what other people are watching. I love to know when you go around, you know, say, oh, let's watch Toy Story and Hulk and He-Man and
Avatar.
Marvel, Avatar. And then I was the only one watching a film by Miguel Gomes, which is this Portuguese director, amazing Portuguese director. And like, I mean, there were like 300 people on the plane, and it was like, I didn't walk to the business section, but in the economy cabin, I was like looking at all, you know, screens. And I was the only one watching this art house, wonderful movie, Grand Tour. And everybody else was watching the Toy Story and or I don't know. Oh my God, this.
The question is, if the airplane is going down, what movie are you watching?
Grand Tour.
Grand Tour.
Or something, you know, black and white art house. Very strange.
If you have 2 hours before the plane crashes, what movie will you watch?
I would watch something. I don't know. Maybe I wouldn't be watching anything. I don't know. Maybe a Grand Tour, you know. That's true. Maybe I would watch something that would, you know, get my head somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
I would watch Toy Story.
It wouldn't get your head elsewhere.
We need to wrap it up. Sorry, now we're just talking nonsense.
Yeah, when you talk about Toy Story, it's the time to wrap up.
Pretty much. Thank you all. Thanks for that, son.
Oh, by the way, if I directed the film 10 years ago, 11 years ago. If you have time tomorrow, I'll invite you to see California at
5:30.
5:30.
At La Pinsu. La Pinsu? You pronounce it La Pinsu?
Which is
The cinema.
The cinema.
Yeah, California at 5:30 at La Pinsu. You should watch it. That's an objective endorsement because I didn't have anything to do with the film. It's a very good film. So please come watch it.
My God, there's sun at 12:41.